I think I found myself a victim of crime, then a victim of the system, and then to the point where I didn't want to be here, you know. I felt the world was wicked. I felt life was cruel, but in the end, it was a fight for my life. I went and hit rock bottom, big time. And when I hit rock bottom, I started to self-sabotage, self-harm. I will not promote the method because that's the duty we have to one another, is not to promote how you did try to harm. However, that's what I ended up doing, and I was losing hope, and I just felt I can't do this anymore. The ones that think they're above and superior will stop another human being from trying to reach their destination, i.e. they will stop them even trying to get shelter. A basic human need, shelter. And I think for some reason, when these people said no to me, I went, Lord wants good for me. I am meant to be here. This fight is for my life. But once I find a way through it, I'll be able to help other people and stop them feeling the way that I felt. So, I challenged the system. I put complaints in. I took it all the way to the ombudsman. But let me tell you this, from the place, like I said, that I was relocated to where my main town was, I'd gone through help from that council who refused me and gave me a case law, basically saying they didn't find me vulnerable. So as a victim, victims are vulnerable. You don't see me as vulnerable. As a victim who also has mental health and mental ill health, particularly when I'm a victim of crime, I have a diagnosis, you still don't see me vulnerable. And it was just, oh my gosh, these people are chucking a case law at me. So when I went to the other council and said, listen, the police have told me I cannot stay in my home, it's unsafe for me, this council took me in. But 3 weeks down the line, they give me a case law. So I've got 2 case laws thrown at me. Now I have to prove how vulnerable I really am. That means demonstrating that I was under mental health when I was a victim and when I was in crisis, demonstrating that I had police on my side, and demonstrating that I have other services that are in support of me. Oh my gosh, all because I was a victim of crime. But the damn perpetrators, they don't have to go through this, right? They never do. They walk away and carry on destruction to another person. But for me, when I was given those 2 case laws, I felt, no, they're putting me out to the street. They're making me homeless. Again, they've just given me temporary accommodation, and now they're going to put me out on the street and make me homeless. And I said, why don't you believe me? I've given you medical evidence. I've given you supportive documents from victim support. I've given you a letter from mental health. I've given you all of these letters, and they're saying, well, we don't find you vulnerable. And that felt like gaslighting to me. You're making out now that I have not got a diagnosis, and you're making out that I'm not a victim of crime. Well, you can imagine how I felt. I felt like nobody was listening to me. Nobody listened. So at that point, I told them they were going to have, put it this way, I said my life was in their hands, and I went and done something silly, and I ended up in hospital. But from hospital, I got a woman. She said, why? What's going on? I said, you must understand about discrimination. I said, because that is what's happening to me. I'm having disability discrimination here. My file is extensive, so therefore this is what's happening. They're not listening to me. This is what happened, blah blah blah. They ended up giving me a CPN, a care practitioner nurse. I mean, she was amazing, right? All she did was to listen to me. And that's the thing about people with mental health or having depression. All we need is someone to talk to, someone who's going to listen and understand our stories and our love language, what we've gone through, right? And this woman, she says, do you know what? Do you know what you've got on your file? And so I got to this point where I went to the ombudsman. I had to put my case in front of a board, and I took voice ability with me. I took a mental health worker with me. I took a friend with me, and there was me. And the other side was 2 women. So I'm in a room with all these women, and I kept thinking, God, please put the right people in front of me so they hear my story correctly, and so they see what has happened here and who is doing what to try and keep me from shelter. And I had to defend my case. Now I've got the recording of this because they asked me if I wanted to record it, and I said yes, I will be recording it in case we have to go to court, but God is my witness here. I bear myself to you today. I stood up in this room, and I said to the people, they started pulling out my paperwork, copies of my paperwork, and I said, well, how have you got that? That letter is addressed private and confidential towards my doctor, so how have you got it? And they said, my mental health worker wrote it. I said, but my mental health worker wrote me a letter 2 weeks prior to that, supporting me and asking the council to change my banding. But the mental health worker also wrote a different letter and said, if she comes to us again, do not help her. And to see that in writing at this meeting, I was just like, oh my God, this is a setup. This is what's going on here. People are putting things on my files that's stopping me from getting home. I stood up and I had my file in chronological order of dates of meetings and times of who I met, when I met, who I spoke to. And I presented that. And it came to fruition that we had 2 letters from the same mental health worker that were just weeks different. One is saying, help her, she's a victim of crime, she's going through this and her mental health is deteriorating. And also she's got emotionally unstable personality disorder, right? Meaning, damn it, I'm sensitive to the trauma that's happening. The other one is saying, don't help her. If she comes back for a housing problem. And at the end of the day, you will have a housing problem if you're a victim of crime in your own home. And that's what I was going through. But in the end, they saw the contradictory letter, and they said they can't understand why the mental health would have discharged me in my time of crisis. And my doctor, boy, beautiful doctor, because I'll always go to them before I go to the mental health services. So from that point, I felt like I can no longer trust the mental health service. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Take care and look after yourselves.